illustrates, sugar is often seen as a harmless treat, a small indulgence at the end of a long day or a quick pick-me-up in the afternoon. Illustrates, it's everywhere, from the spoon stirred into morning coffee to the hidden sugars in salad dressings and sauces. Study illustrates. But what many don't realize is that this sweet ingredient is slowly and silently damaging the body. Excess sugar consumption has been directly linked to a host of chronic disease, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, fatty liver disease, and even certain types of cancer. The problem is that sugar doesn't announce its presence with immediate consequences. It works subtly behind the scenes, illustrates, gradually wearing down the body's defenses and inviting an illness. The human body was never meant to handle the volume of sugar that modern diets now include. Historically, humans consumed very small amounts of sugar, mostly from natural sources like fruits and vegetables. These sugars came packaged with fiber, vitamins, study illustrates, and minerals that help the body digest them properly. Today, the landscape has changed. Processed foods are engineered to be addictive, packed with high levels of refined sugars that spike blood glucose rapidly. This constant spike leads to insulin resistance, one of the root causes of metabolic syndrome. When cells no longer respond properly to insulin, glucose builds up in the bloodstream, leading to inflammation, weight gain, and eventually type 2 diabetes. High sugar intake also takes a toll on the heart. Studies show that people who consume more added sugars are significantly more likely to die from heart disease. Sugar increases blood pressure, promotes inflammation, and contributes to harmful cholesterol levels. These factors combined create the perfect storm for heart attacks and strokes. What this study illustrates, it's not just about weight. Plenty of people who appear thin on the outside still suffer the internal consequences of high sugar diets. The danger lies within arteries that harden and organs that slowly lose their function. The liver is another silent victim. When sugar is consumed in excess, especially in the form of fructose, the liver is forced to convert it into fat. Over time, this can lead to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, a condition that now affects millions worldwide, including children. Study illustrates, unlike alcohol-induced liver disease, this form stems purely from dietary choices. It doesn't require years of drinking, just a daily dose of sugary beverages and processed snacks. The liver, illustrate, central to the body's detoxification process, becomes overwhelmed, and its ability to regulate hormones, produce proteins, illustrates, and break down toxins diminishes. Mental health also suffers in the shadow of sugar. What this study illustrates, there is growing evidence linking high sugar consumption to depression and anxiety. Sugar causes inflammation in the brain and affects the balance of neurotransmitters like serotonin, which plays a crucial role in mood regulation. People often reach for sugar to cope with stress, but the relief is temporary. Once the high wears off, the emotional crash can be severe. Illustrates, leading to a cycle of dependence. Long-term, this pattern undermines emotional resilience and contributes to feelings of fatigue, irritability, and low self-worth. Even cancer risks are heightened by excess sugar. Cancer cells thrive on glucose, and a high sugar diet creates an environment in which they can grow more rapidly. While sugar itself may not directly cause cancer, it significantly contributes to obesity and insulin resistance, both of which are major risk factors for cancer development. Researchers have found that high blood sugar levels can feed the growth of tumors, making sugar reduction a critical component in cancer prevention strategies. Children are especially vulnerable to the silent harm caused by sugar. Early exposure to sugary food sets the stage for lifelong health issues. Childhood obesity rates are rising, and along with them come cases of early onset 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and liver problems that were once considered adult diseases. The long-term implications are staggering. A child who consumes excessive sugar is at risk of growing into adult with chronic health conditions, reduced life expectancy, and a lower quality of life. Beyond physical health, sugar also damages the immune system. A study illustrates, consuming high amounts of sugar reduces the body's ability to fight off infections. Just a small amount of sugar can suppress immune function for several hours, making the body more susceptible to colds, flu, and other illnesses. Illustrates, in a world where immune strength is more important than ever, what this study illustrates, reducing sugar is one of the most immediate and impactful steps a person can take to support their body's natural defenses. Illustrates another deceptive aspect of sugar is its ability to hijack the brain's reward system. Sugar triggers the release of dopamine, the feel-good chemical. This creates a rush of pleasure that mimics the effects of addictive substances. Over time, the brain requires more sugar to achieve the same level of satisfaction, leading to overconsumption. This is not simply a lack of willpower. It's a physiological response. People become trapped in a cycle of craving, consumption, and guilt, often without realizing the depth of their dependency. The reality is stark sugar is not just a treat. It is a substance that rewires the brain, disrupts hormones, weakens the body, and opens the door to disease. The gradual damage it causes may not be visible at first, but over months and years, the effects accumulate, blood sugar levels rise, organs struggle, energy fades, and vitality slips away. What begins as a small habit can turn into a lifetime of medication, hospital visits, and diminished potential. Yet the body is resilient. The moment sugar intake is, the healing begins. Blood pressure starts to normalize, inflammation decreases. The liver begins to recover, insulin sensitivity improves, energy becomes more stable, mental clarity returns. Illustrates, it doesn't take years to notice a difference. Just a few weeks of mindful eating can lead to measurable improvements in health and well-being. What this study illustrates, the journey isn't easy. Sugar is everywhere and its grip is strong, but the stakes are too high to ignore. Cutting sugar isn't about missing out. It's about choosing to live fully with energy, strength, and clarity. It's about waking up without fatigue, moving through the day with purpose, and aging with dignity. The dangers of sugar are real, but so is the power to change. Every step away from sugar is a step toward life. The silent killer loses its power the moment awareness leads to action. And that action can start today. Every day, people chase energy. They reach for energy drinks, sugar-laden snacks, or cups of coffee packed with cream and sweeteners. For a moment, what this study illustrates, they feel a rush, alert, alive, powerful, but then like clockwork, the crash comes, fatigue creeps in, focus fades, and mood plummets. This cycle repeats day after day, a roller coaster of highs and lows driven by sugar. The truth is, real energy and mental clarity don't from these quick fixes. They come from within. They come from a body and brain that are nourished, balanced, and free from the chaos of sugar spikes and crashes. Cutting sugar from the diet doesn't just eliminate empty calories. It unlocks a deeper, more sustainable source of energy and focus that can transform life from the inside out. The body is an incredibly intelligent system. When it's fueled properly, it maintains stable blood sugar levels, supports consistent energy output, and keeps the mind sharp. But it disrupts that balance. When sugary foods are consumed, glucose floods the bloodstream, causing a surge of energy. Illustrates, the body responds by releasing insulin to bring blood sugar back to normal. Often too much insulin is released, causing blood sugar to crash below normal levels. This crash triggers fatigue, irritability, and a powerful craving for more sugar. What this study illustrates, and so the cycle continues, it's a biochemical trap that leaves people exhausted and mentally scattered. Illustrates, even when they believe they're doing what they need to stay energized. By cutting sugar, the body begins to stabilize. Without constant spikes and crashes, energy levels become even and predictable. This consistency creates a foundation for greater productivity and emotional resilience. Instead of needing a sugar hit to get through the afternoon, what this study illustrates, natural energy generated by proper nutrition and stable blood glucose levels carries through the day. The body learns to draw energy from nutrient-dense foods, complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, and proteins, rather than relying on quick, unsustainable fuel. Mental clarity is one of the first and most noticeable benefits of eliminating sugar. The brain is highly sensitive to fluctuations in blood sugar. When levels swing rapidly, so does cognitive performance. Focus diminishes, memory weakens, and decision-making becomes more difficult. The constant distraction of cravings also pulls attention away from meaningful tasks. But when sugar is removed, the brain begins to operate on a steady, reliable stream of energy. This leads to improved concentration, better problem solving, and heightened creativity. Thoughts become clearer, reaction sharper, and moods more stable. The nervous system also benefits from a sugar-free lifestyle. High study illustrates high sugar intake has been linked to increased stress hormone levels, including cortisol. Elevated cortisol not only contributes to fatigue, but also impairs brain function over time. It disrupts sleep, increases anxiety, and creates a sense of mental fog. Reducing sugar helps to lower cortisol levels naturally, promoting a sense of calm and mental peace. With lower stress comes deeper sleep, which in turn fuels better focus and energy during waking hours. It's a positive feedback loop, one that reinforces itself as the body heals. What's even more empowering is how the absence of sugar begins to sharpen the body's natural hunger and satiety signals. Sugar overrides these systems. This study illustrates encouraging overeating by hijacking the brain's reward centers. Without sugar constantly interfering, the body starts to send clearer signals about what it actually needs. Hunger becomes more predictable, cravings become manageable, and meals become a source of true nourishment rather than emotional coping. This leads to better food choices overall. More vegetables, more lean protein, more whole grains, and these foods deliver slow, burning energy that sustains both body and mind, study illustrates. The relationship between sugar and sleep also cannot be overlooked. Many people struggle with falling asleep or staying asleep and don't realize sugar may be playing a role. High sugar consumption, particularly in the evening, disrupts the body's circadian rhythm and interferes with the production of melatonin, the sleep hormone. This study illustrates poor sleep leads to tired mornings, which are then medicated with more sugar and caffeine, repeating the cycle. When sugar is cut out, sleep becomes more restorative, deep sleep increases. People wake up feeling refreshed, not groggy. This directly contributes to higher energy levels and clear thinking throughout the day. Physical endurance and performance improve as well, illustrates. Whether it's walking, working, or exercising, the body performs better when it's not bogged down by sugar. The inflammatory effects of sugar can lead to joint pain, stiffness, and slower recovery times. Reducing sugar reduces inflammation, allowing for greater mobility, less pain, and more energy to engage in physical activity. And physical activity itself boosts energy and cognitive function, creating yet another powerful cycle of improvement. Another benefit that emerges is emotional stability. Sugar affects the brain's neurotransmitters, particularly serotonin and dopamine, which regulate mood. The initial spike from sugar might feel good, but it's always followed by a drop, which can lead to mood swings, anxiety, and even depressive symptoms. Removing sugar helps to stabilize these chemicals naturally. The result is a more balanced, positive outlook. Instead of reacting to every small stressor with irritation or sadness, the mind becomes more resilient, better equipped to navigate challenges without collapsing into emotional lows. Perhaps most importantly, cutting sugar builds self-trust. Each time a sugary temptation is resisted, the brain reinforces discipline, reminding the self that real strength comes from within. That strength becomes fuel, not just physical fuel, but mental and emotional fuel. The more it's exercised, the more it grows. The more it grows, the more unstoppable life becomes. With every sugar-free day, confidence rises. The sense of reliance on external substances fades, replaced by a grounded belief in the body's own ability to sustain and thrive. Eventually, the desire for sugar begins to fade. Taste buds recalibrate. Natural foods begin to taste sweeter, more satisfying. Fruits become dessert. Whole foods become enjoyable. Eating becomes intentional, not compulsive. Energy becomes a constant, not a chase. Clarity becomes the default, not the exception. This transformation doesn't require perfection, just consistency. Every time sugar is avoided, the body remembers. Every day without sugar is a step toward true vitality. It's easy to forget how powerful the body is when it's buried under sugar crashes and brain fog. But the moment sugar is left behind, that power starts to resurface. It doesn't take months to feel the difference, just days. A week or two without sugar can change the way the mind thinks, the way the body moves, the way the day unfolds. Energy and clarity were never meant to come from a bottle or a bar. They were always there, the study illustrates, waiting to be uncovered. Cutting sugar doesn't take away joy. It brings it back. It doesn't limit life. It opens it up. And once that natural energy returns, it becomes the new standard, the new normal, the new you. The human body is a masterpiece of design built with remarkable systems capable of healing, adapting, and restoring balance. What this study illustrates, when treated with care and given the right conditions, it doesn't just function, it thrives. One of the most powerful yet underestimated ways to unlock this healing potential is by cutting sugar. Excess sugar burdens nearly every system in the body. It causes inflammation, disrupts hormones, stresses vital organs, and impairs natural processes. But the moment sugar intake is reduced, the body begins to repair itself. Healing doesn't come from pills or quick fixes. It starts with the simple decision to remove what harms and allow the body to do what it was always meant to heal. When sugar is consumed regularly, the body is forced into overdrive. The pancreas constantly produces insulin to manage blood sugar spikes. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, a condition where cells no longer respond effectively to insulin. This resistance is at the core of type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and a cascade of health problems. But when sugar is removed, insulin levels begin to stabilize. Cells regain their sensitivity. The body starts to process glucose more efficiently. Blood sugar levels normalize, and the risk of diabetes and its complications begins to drop. This study illustrates, this is not a theory, it's proven. Studies have shown that diet alone, particularly reducing sugar, it can reverse early stages of insulin resistance and restore proper metabolic function. One of the most immediate changes the body experiences when sugar is cut, a decrease in inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the root of many modern diseases, including arthritis, heart disease, and autoimmune disorders. Sugar acts as a fuel source for inflammation. It increases the production of inflammatory markers and damages cells. By eliminating sugar, the inflammatory response diminishes. Joints ache less. The digestive system calms. The skin clears. Internal systems that were once overwhelmed by constant stress begin to operate smoothly. The immune system, no longer distracted by the side effects of sugar overload, becomes more effective at fighting off real threats. The liver, study illustrates, one of the body's most vital detoxifying organs, is another area where healing begins when sugar is eliminated. High fructose intake especially from sugary drinks, forces the liver to convert excess sugar into fat. Over time, this leads to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, a silent condition that can progress to liver scarring, cirrhosis, and liver failure. But the liver is incredibly regenerative. Once sugar is reduced, fat accumulation decreases, enzyme levels improve, and liver function begins to return to normal. This transformation can happen quickly. In just a few weeks of cutting out added sugars, illustrates, the liver begins to clear out stored fat and function more efficiently, proving how rapidly the body can turn things around. The digestive system also benefits from a sugar-free environment. High sugar diets contribute to an imbalance in gut bacteria, promoting the growth of harmful microbes like candida while suppressing beneficial bacteria. This imbalance, known as dysbiosis, can lead to bloating, gas, constipation, and even mental health issues. The gut and brain are deeply connected through the gut-brain axis. By cutting sugar, the balance of the microbiome is restored. Good bacteria begin to flourish. Nutrient absorption improves. Digestion becomes smoother and more comfortable. Illustrates, with a healthier gut, everything from mood to immunity sees improvement, reinforcing the body's ability to heal from the inside out. Hormonal balance is another area where sugar wreaks havoc. High sugar intake disrupts the production of key hormones like insulin, cortisol, leptin, and ghrelin. These hormones regulate everything from appetite and energy to stress response and fat storage. When sugar is removed, these systems recalibrate. Leptin and ghrelin begin to signal hunger and fullness accurately. Cortisol levels drop, reducing stress and improving sleep. What this study illustrates, the endocrine system, freed from constant disruption, begins to operate in harmony. This balance restores the natural rhythms of the body, helping to align cycles, appetite control, reproductive health, and even emotional stability. What this study illustrates, Hearth also sees significant improvements when sugar is eliminated. Sugar contributes to high blood pressure, study illustrates, increases levels of harmful LDL cholesterol, and promotes arterial plaque buildup. All of these factors raise the risk of heart attack and stroke. By cutting sugar, blood pressure decreases. good cholesterol levels rise. Arteries become more flexible. Circulation improves. Illustrates. The heart no longer has to work as hard to pump blood, reducing strain and improving endurance. These changes not only extend life expectancy, but improve quality of life, allowing for more energy, better physical performance, and study illustrates, and fewer medical complications. Weight loss is often a byproduct of cutting sugar, but it's more than just shedding pounds. It's a sign of deeper healing. Sugar contributes to fat storage, particularly around the abdomen. When sugar is eliminated, insulin levels drop, allowing the body to access and burn stored fat more easily. This process not only reduces visible weight, but also decreases visceral fat, the dangerous fat that surrounds internal organs. As the body composition improves, so does mobility, energy, and confidence. The metabolism becomes more efficient, illustrates, and maintaining a healthy weight becomes less of a struggle and more of a natural outcome of healthy living. The skin is a visible reflection of internal health and one of the first places to show improvement when sugar is removed. Sugar contributes to the formation of advanced glycation end products, AGEs, molecules that damage collagen and accelerate aging. This leads to wrinkles, sagging skin, and acne, and cutting sugar reduces the formation of AGEs, allowing the skin to maintain elasticity and glow. Acne breakouts decrease, and chronic skin conditions like eczema and rosacea improve. The transformation can be dramatic. Inflammation goes down, hydration improves, illustrates, and the skin begins to radiate health from the inside out. The benefits even extend to the brain. High sugar diets impair memory, reduce learning ability, illustrates, and increase the risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Sugar can cause the brain to shrink over time, reducing cognitive function. But when sugar is removed, mental clarity improves. Focus sharpens. Memory becomes more reliable. The brain, like the rest of the body, begins to repair itself. New neural pathways form and old damage begins to heal. This has profound implications for aging. Cognitive decline is not inevitable. It can be slowed and even reversed by nourishing the brain with proper fuel and eliminating what causes harm. None of this healing requires expensive treatments or dramatic interventions. It begins with a simple yet powerful choosing to cut sugar. This decision sends a signal to the body that it is time to repair, to rebuild, to recover. The transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. Each day without sugar is a step closer to balance. Every healthy meal strengthens the systems that once struggled under the weight of sugar overload. The body, given the chance, responds with energy, clarity, vitality, and strength. It does not need to be perfect, just consistent. Healing is not a distant dream. It is a natural response to the removal of what hurts and the return to what nourishes. The body is always waiting. All it needs is a reason to begin. Every habit, no matter how small, holds the power to shape a person's future. What begins as a daily routine becomes a long-term pattern, illustrates, and those patterns define the quality of life. Sugar may seem like a small indulgence, a harmless pleasure in an otherwise busy day, but the truth is far more serious. The long-term consequences of a high sugar diet are profound, reaching into every aspect of health, longevity, and well-being. Cutting sugar isn't just a choice for the present, it's an investment in the future. It means choosing strength over sickness, clarity over confusion, and vitality over decline. Each decision to reduce sugar intake is a step away from disease and a step toward a longer, more vibrant life. Over time, the cumulative effects of sugar weigh heavily on the body. One of the most concerning long-term risks is the development of type 2 diabetes. This condition doesn't appear overnight. It begins with small warning signs. Frequent thirst, fatigue, blurry vision that gradually worsen as the body becomes increasingly resistant to insulin. Illustrates, unchecked diabetes can lead to nerve damage, kidney failure, vision loss, and even limb amputations. Illustrates, cutting sugar significantly reduces the risk of developing this disease. By maintaining stable blood sugar levels through mindful eating, the pancreas is spared from overworking and the delicate balance of glucose and insulin is preserved. It is not just about avoiding discomfort. It is about preventing a lifelong condition that can steal both freedom and health. The heart is another organ that suffers silently under the burden of excess sugar. Over time, sugar contributes to the hardening of the arteries, a process known as atherosclerosis. This condition restricts blood flow, increases blood pressure, and leads to heart attacks and strokes. Unlike sudden injuries, heart disease builds slowly. Years of high sugar diets quietly damage blood vessels until one day they give out. But by cutting sugar early, that trajectory can be reversed. The arteries can regain flexibility. Blood pressure can normalize.
Yeah.
Illustrates the risk of cardiovascular disease can drop dramatically. Every sugar-free choice helps protect the heart and ensures it can continue beating strong for years to come. Illustrates brain health also suffers under the constant strain of sugar. Studies have linked high sugar consumption to an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease, now often referred to as type 3 diabetes due to its strong association with insulin resistance in the brain. Excess sugar impairs memory. What this study illustrates is cognitive flexibility and may even shrink critical areas of the brain over time. As decades pass, what this study illustrates, these effects can lead to severe cognitive decline, robbing people of their memories, their independence, and their very identity. But it does not have to be this way. Reducing sugar intake can improve brain function and protect against the long-term erosion of mental clarity. It illustrates, it means preserving not just physical health, but also the ability to think, remember, and engage fully in life. Bones, joints, and muscles also feel the consequences of a sugary diet in the long run. Sugar increases systemic inflammation, study illustrates, which contributes to the degradation of cartilage and the development of arthritis. Muscles become less efficient at recovery, illustrates, and bone density can decline more rapidly, increasing the risk of fractures. With age, the body naturally loses some resilience, but sugar accelerates this process. Choosing to reduce or eliminate sugar helps maintain strength and mobility into later years. It supports a more active lifestyle and helps prevent the physical limitations that often accompany aging. Sugar's impact on the immune system also becomes more significant over time. Each dose of sugar suppresses immune function temporarily, making it harder to fight off infections and heal from illness. Over the years, this constant weakening of immune response can lead to chronic infections, illustrates slow wound healing and increased vulnerability to disease. In contrast, those who maintain a low sugar diet often report fewer colds, quicker recoveries, and a stronger overall resistance to illness. This doesn't just improve day-to-day life. It means fewer hospital visits, less dependence on medications, and a reduced risk of serious complications from common illnesses. One of the most visible long-term effects of sugar is accelerated aging. The skin is a mirror of internal health, and sugar speeds up the aging process through a mechanism called glycation. This process damages collagen and elastin, the proteins that keep skin firm and youthful. Over time, this leads to wrinkles, sagging, and dullness, illustrates. But the damage doesn't stop at the skin surface. Glycation also affects organs and blood vessels, contributing to a general decline in cellular health. By cutting sugar, the body slows this process dramatically. Skin remains firmer, eyes clear, and energy higher. Aging becomes more graceful, more vibrant, and far less debilitating. Long-term sugar consumption also has a profound impact on emotional well-being. The emotional highs and lows caused by sugar spikes can develop into chronic mood disorders. Anxiety, depression, and irritability are all linked to excessive sugar intake. Over years and decades, this emotional instability can affect relationships, careers, and self-esteem. However, reducing sugar creates emotional stability. It helps regulate the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which govern mood and motivation. A sugar-free life supports emotional resilience and mental peace, an essential foundation for overall happiness and fulfillment. Perhaps most importantly, the study illustrates cutting sugar changes the trajectory of future generations. Habits are contagious. Children learn from what they see. A parent who regularly consumes sugary snacks teaches their children that sugar is a normal part of life. This sets them up for the same struggles and health issues. But when healthier habits are modeled, when meals are made with whole foods, when sweet treats are occasional instead of daily, children learn to value their health. They grow up with better nutrition, stronger immune systems, and a clearer understanding of self-care. This study illustrates breaking the cycle of sugar dependence doesn't just protect the individual. It creates a legacy of health that spans generations. But the financial cost of long-term sugar consumption is another harsh reality. Chronic diseases related to sugar require medications, frequent doctor visits, and even surgeries. The cost of managing conditions like diabetes, heart disease, and autoimmune disorders can be overwhelming. By cutting sugar, these expenses can be greatly reduced or avoided altogether. That money can be redirected to experiences that enhance life. Travel, this illustrates hobbies, education, and time with loved ones. Health is an investment that pays dividends in every area of life, including financial freedom and peace of mind. Choosing to reduce or eliminate sugar is not about deprivation. It's about freedom. Illustrates it's about freeing the body from pain, the mind from fog, and the spirit from dependence. It's about regaining control over the future. Every small change compounds over time. A week becomes a month becomes a year, and suddenly the benefits are undeniable. Energy increases, illustrates, health stabilizes, life feels full again. The future becomes something to look forward to, not fear. Cutting sugar is not a sacrifice. It is a powerful declaration that life is worth living fully, healthily, and with intention. The reward is not just a longer life, but a better one. And that reward begins with one simple, courageous choice: